Hey everyone, this is Tammy Mason from Tammy Mason the Salon in Newport News, Virginia. I just wanted to give you guys a response on the feedback we've received as far as creating more natural everyday looks. In my honest and professional opinion, your everyday look kind of depends on where you're starting from. If your brows are perfectly arched and you don't have a lot of blemishes, then an everyday look is simple. But if you're covering blemishes, brows really need to be drawn in and accented, things of that nature, then it's going to take a little more effort. What I'm going to do is give you our version of what your everyday look should be like from where I'm starting from. Now, to create an everyday simple look, you're just going to need a few key items. So what I'm going to do is just give you a quick run through of the items that I have here that you would need for just an everyday basic look. You're still going to need a concealer palette that has at least one or two different shades. One lighter than your skin tone and one darker than your skin tone. You can use the two to blend to cover up blemishes. And then you can use the lighter to highlight in certain areas and the darker to contour in certain areas. If you're on a budget and you only can afford one, get what's closest to your shade. And then we can kind of show you how to work from there for an everyday look. But in my opinion, this palette is amazing. It has everything I need, a lighter, a darker, and a little bit to play with in between. You're going to need an eyeshadow palette. Very important. This is one of my faves for a very natural look by Sephora. I do believe it was about $16, and they actually have a VIB program, very important beauty, that you can rack up points and get things for free. If you're on a budget, again, my favorite, Wet n Wild, 8 colors, $4.99. You can find that at Target, Walmart, Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, or any of your local drugstores. Eyeshadow, this is something I can't go cheap on. Buxom Lashes or Benefits, they are real. $19 and totally worth it. There's no $4, $5, $6 eye mascara that compares. You're going to need a pressed powder in your skin tone exact match. You can go with something inexpensive like a L'Oreal. You can go with a CoverGirl. My preference is MAC. It gives me the most bang for my buck. It can cover blemishes in the event that I don't have my concealer with me. So again, you're going to need a pressed powder in your exact skin tone. Last but not least, lip color. Lip color, lipsticks are really in right now. Women, you want something that's going to give your lips a nice tint and a nice bit of color. My preference, again, back to the amazing MAC palettes. And there are a few other brands that are a little cheaper that have great palettes that you can actually have lighter tones, mid-tones, deeper tones. This is just my fave. Sephora, again, is another great place to go and find different palettes that offer a lot of options. And then you're going to need the brushes to go with that. Concerning your brushes, if you really want to minimize your kit, you only need 2 brushes. A lot of things with your foundation, your mascaras, even sometimes your eyeshadows, they can actually be done with your fingers. Really quick and really simple for an everyday look. If you must get a foundation brush or a foundation pod, I would suggest you go to Target. If you're working on one face, then you can use an inexpensive brush. Make sure you keep it clean. That way you don't transfer any type of bacteria. Just one brush, inexpensive, Target, that's all you'll need. For a foundation brush, this is my favorite, a nice big fluffy brush. In comparison, you'll see the eyeshadow brush super small, okay? One eyeshadow brush, one foundation brush, powder brush. So now we're going to go in with our Sephora palette. And today I'm just going to choose more of a caramel, kind of a coppery caramel eyeshadow. This has a nice shimmer to it, a metallic tone to it. So that way when you apply it, you will actually see a bit of a difference on the eye. All right, and that's just a really cool metallic-y shade. All right, we're going to go back in for a little bit more. And it's so interesting how something of this color on the palette shows up this color on my skin tone. Really important when you're starting to play with colors. Things that might not look dark on a palette compared to your skin tone may show up very frosty and light. All right, slight difference already, all right? Go back in and just add a little bit of pop of color to make sure that it's noticeable. Cool beans. Now what we're going to do, same palette, same brush. We want to keep it simple. We're going to go in with one of the darker shades. I'm going to say this very deep dark chocolate. And we're going to clean our brush off just a little. Go into this deep dark chocolate. And we're going to hit right above the coppery shade that we did earlier, just a second ago. Okay. Right in that crease line, right where your eye is naturally darker. And you're just going to apply a little. Don't have to worry about blending just yet. If you're having trouble seeing and knowing if it looks right, the best way to tell if something is looking right is to grab your camera phone, take a picture. That will show you what's even, what's uneven, what's too dark, what looks crazy. This is where we're going to go into our palette. If you don't have a palette, you should have a lighter and a darker concealer. Even if you don't have a lighter and darker concealer, use the concealer that is your skin tone. This is my skin tone, NW45 by MAC. So this is what I'm going to use to kind of show you guys what to expect when you're doing an everyday look. Not going to fill these brows in, but guess what? We are going to get in here and we are going to clean them up. Now, me personally, I cannot live without brow definition. I tried it. It wasn't working, so I had to grab my brow pencil, a nice soft brown, and just go in and do a little something to define and make these bad boys stand out, especially when I'm wearing all of this dark black hair. Without making my eyebrows do some kind of pop, I just feel like muted. I feel like my face is muted. And that's not a look I would like to go for. May also be time for me to get them done as well, to get them waxed. Waxing your brows, super important when you're trying to do a glamorous look. Now I'm going to go in and just line my eyes. I see where I may want to go back in and blend my darker shadow. Eyeliner, very important. All of your steps are very important. No one is more important than the other. But it makes a huge difference when you're doing eyeliner. Reshapes that eye, kind of brings it back onto the face. And the more you go in and you give yourself a catty look, the more sexy it is. I'm actually using a Sephora blue eyeliner right now. Comes across really neat on camera. Lighter skin girls, I would suggest a dark brown. Girls my skin tone or deeper, definitely want to get a black or a blue. All right, cool. Bottom, totally optional, but try it, practice it. Again, it makes a difference. Shines the eye. And that's what you want to do. You want a clean look. Now what you want to do is go back in with your exact shade of concealer and hit these little bad boys right there. You see that? Zap. Zap. All right. Zap. Get rid of those. This is where your fingers come handy. Skin to skin contact gives you a much better blend. Okay. Sometimes you may not want to cover a natural mole. Like this is a natural mole. But other little blemishes, other little acneic scars, those we can get rid of. All right, I'm pretty satisfied. Just go under here and do a little blending with my finger. Make sure I have the tri-color effect going on, which is super trendy right now, with the lighter lid, the deeper crease, and then above that a very natural skin color effect going on right under those brows. Very natural skin tone. And because we're not going to go in and do a whole bunch of contouring and highlighting, super natural, you're going to take your pressed powder. Again, I prefer the MAC Mineralize. Recently launched, I do believe it came out last year or so. MAC Mineralize. And as you can tell as I'm dusting, it's almost like everything is just disappearing. Oily skin, you're going to want to have this in your purse. Travel along, because you may need to blot more frequently than someone like myself who has drier skin or normal skin. Drier and normal skin, you don't have to go through this throughout the day. If you used a great base for your makeup, you definitely won't have to go back and do this again with dry skin or normal skin. Or oily skin, prepare yourselves. You're going to need to go in and you're going to have to do this maybe once every few hours or so. When it comes to oily skin, a great base is the MAC Skin or the MAC Moisture Infusion. All right, so here you have your very natural everyday look. I'm going to go in and do just a little pop of color on my lips, a nice lip stain. Again, if you're over 21, please do not use lip gloss. You're an adult. You need lipstick, lip stain, lip color, okay? Lip liner. Lip liner is totally optional, but never black. Do not use black, dark brown lip liners. Something very close to your skin tone or even something in the tone of the lip shade you're using, especially if you want it to stay on all day. All right. Now, as another option, you can always go in and do a little blush, totally optional. But if it is 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. in the morning time, very light on the blush. When you get to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., then you may want to go into your bag and grab your accent pieces and just kind of freshen and touch your face up for the evening. Never too much blush in the morning. It's not natural. Just to recap, this was a very short, simple, everyday look, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Everybody wants to feel a little bit sexy, a little bit better, but some people just don't want to go into the full shebang of contouring, highlighting, drawing on your eyebrows, drawing on your lips, drawing on your eyes. Sometimes it's just a little too much. So just to recap, we went in and we used our Sephora palette just to give the eyes two different shadings, a lighter on the lid and a little bit deeper in the crease. And with that, we used our blending fluff brush. Then we went in with our tone on tone concealer and just kind of defined around the brows. I went back in with my pencil just to define them a little bit because I'm a brow girl. I need my brows to look right. That is my signature in my opinion. We went back over with a pressed powder and our giant powder brush, blended the entire face. And then I finished it off with just a little bit of blush on the cheeks, just to give me a little bit of life. Last but not least, a little pop of lip color, not lip gloss, lip color. We're adults, we use lip color and lipstick. Lip gloss is for middle school kids. A little bit of lip color, no liner necessary, that is totally optional, but definitely not black lip liner. Something that is in your skin tone or the same tone as the lip color that you're using. Hope you guys learned and picked up a lot. Check out our other videos. We have other videos on YouTube under Tammy Mason for the full shebang, full coverage, the contour and the highlighting, how to get those brows just right. And we have a lot of tips over there as well. So just check us out. Thank you.